Hello Multiverse Travelers, I'm Celestial, your navigator through the wild worlds of film, fandom, and fire fancasts, and this is Pop Nexus. Buckle up, we've got a new timeline to explore. Alright, I'm gonna be real with y'all, I am so tired of these live-action Disney remakes. Absolutely drained, and now we've got Lilo and Stitch on the chopping block. Seriously, I don't understand how Disney keeps hiring people who claim to be fans of the source material just to save face. What does that even mean anymore? You say you love the original, but then go out of your way to disregard everything that made it special. Make it make sense. What frustrates me the most is this weird need to elevate or reimagine the story. Disney thinks they can turn these films into prestige dramas by changing characters, adding subplots, or just making up new people entirely. And in the process, they erase what gave the original its heart. In Lilo and Stitch, that heart was family. It was raw, it was messy, and it was real. Nani fighting for custody of her little sister. That storyline hit hard, it meant something, and now, they're watering it down, stripping it of its emotional weight, all for the sake of, what? Marketing. And don't even get me started on the casting. You replaced the male love interest because of racism, fine, cool, but you kept the actress playing Nani, who's not a native Hawaiian and has been accused of literal brownface. What are we doing here? How do you justify one and not the other? It's giving double standards, it's giving Hollywood politics, honestly, it's giving, somebody knew somebody, because otherwise, there's no reason she should still be cast. This movie isn't just disappointing, it's disrespectful. To the culture, to the fans, to the legacy of what Lilo and Stitch stood for. And it's just one more reminder that Disney isn't listening. But hey, we've got a lot to unpack. So let's get into it. And here's the part that really blows my mind. There's no commentary on tourism or colonialism in this remake. None. Which is wild when you remember that the original animated film from the early 2000s handled that subject better, and it was subtle, too. Remember the fat white tourist who kept dropping his ice cream? Or Lilo's hobby of photographing overweight tourists because they do the same to her, treating her like a curiosity for just being native Hawaiian. That wasn't random or just for laughs, it was layered. It said a lot without having to spell it out. That animated film understood how to weave real-world issues into a kid's movie without being preachy. It was playful, but it had a pulse. It understood its setting, its people, and what it meant to live in that space, in a place impacted by colonialism and constant tourist exploitation. So how is it that an early 2000s cartoon managed to say more than a multi-million-dollar live-action upgrade? How is that even possible? At what point did the filmmakers say, yeah, let's just erase all that? Let's skip the subtle cultural commentary and just tell a generic family story with aliens in Hawaii? Why? Why strip out the layers that gave the original its identity? I've got a theory, and it might sound petty, but hear me out. Maybe Disney cut all of that stuff out because they don't want people asking too many questions. Hey Disney, if you care so much about Hawaiian culture, why do you have a massive luxury resort parked in Oahu? Yeah, that part. It's like they don't want to deal with the contradictions, so instead of embracing the themes, they bury them. No commentary, no subtle jabs, just vibes. And the result? A hollow shell of a movie that misses the point on every level. You know what's hilarious? Disney keeps acting shocked when these remakes flop at the box office. Genuinely surprised, as if they can't figure out why audiences keep rejecting them. They've even reportedly paused a bunch of upcoming remakes, like that's supposed to be some shocking revelation. But the truth, the reason these movies keep failing is not some big mystery. It's right there, staring them in the face. But instead of facing this, Disney keeps playing one of three cards: the blind card, the stupid card, or the ignorant card. Take your pick. The answer is simple. They keep making dumb, unnecessary changes that strip away what made the originals loved in the first place. And worse, they keep hiring creatives who clearly don't care about the source material, or the fans. These people think they know better. They come in I'm gonna make this prestige cinema. I'm gonna reimagine it, deconstruct it, elevate it. Like they're freaking Picasso or something. And look, we're not saying you can't bring a new vision or style to a remake. But if your creative vision involves ignoring what made the story resonate in the first place, then all you're doing is creating a shiny, soulless knockoff. It's not art, it's just arrogance with a big budget. This Lilo and Stitch remake is just the latest victim. Another case of Disney treating a beloved story like a brand instead of a legacy, and the audience is tired of this. We're not just rejecting bad remakes, we're rejecting the disrespect. Okay, now we really need to talk about the aliens, because what the hell is going on? First off, no Gantu. At all, they just cut him out. One of the main antagonists of the original movie, gone. Gantu wasn't just some side character, he was a major part of the climax, the action, the stakes. And instead of working him into the story, they just replaced him with nothing. Or worse, with random, brand new characters nobody asked for. And to make things more confusing, they made Jumba straight up evil now. No redemption arc, no nuance, he's just a criminal mastermind now. Why throw away that complexity? And Pleakley, they stripped away everything that made him queer-coded, fun, and original. It's just frustrating, so let me get this straight, we're cutting one of the main antagonists, turning the other into a flat villain. And expecting the audience to care. Look, I know the film was originally supposed to be a Disney Plus exclusive with a $100 million budget. Fine, but once they decided to make it a theatrical release, they should have committed. Disney has already made billions off Stitch in merchandise alone, he's practically one of their top mascots worldwide. So the question is, if they knew how valuable this character is, and they made the call to move the live-action Lilo and Stitch from Disney Plus to a theatrical release, why not invest more money into the actual film? Raise the budget to $130 million or $150 million. Do reshoots, add back the characters and scenes that actually mattered. Because here's the thing, if you're cutting Gantu to save on VFX, then just adapt him. Make him a human disguise version like you're already doing with the other aliens. Imagine Terry Crews as Gantu, or Ma Dong-seok, it would have worked perfectly and made fans happy. Instead, they removed the character entirely and spent the money on random new characters nobody cares about. And don't even get me started on Pleakley. The dude doesn't cross-dress anymore. Why? Because of budget, please. If that's the issue, just put the actor in drag. Or better yet, cast an actual drag queen. That would have been a fun, smart update that still kept the character's original charm. And don't give me that woke excuse. This isn't about being woke, it's about being accurate. Pleakley's cross-dressing wasn't a joke or some political statement. It was just part of who he was in the original. That movie came out in the early 2000s and nobody had a problem with it then. If the same people complaining about Snow White casting and story changes want things to be faithful to the original, then where's the outrage over this change? If you're gonna cry about accuracy, then be consistent. But nah, they pick and choose based on their own bias and political views. Now let's talk about something really baffling. The removal of the Ugly Duckling story from Stitch's character development. Like, why? Why take away one of the most important parts of his journey? I want to know how they even justify cutting that, and it's not like these scenes were expensive or complicated to film. Stitch never shows his alien form to Lilo. No real Ohana moment with Nani and Stitch either. Come on, man, that Ohana means family scene. It's basically a joke now. How do you even mess that up? The emotional core of the whole movie and turn it into comedy. Then, they completely forgot to fact-check Leroy before giving him a cameo. Did they even know Leroy was one of Jumba's experiments in the original? That was the simplest thing to look up, but nope. Disney's team couldn't even do that. Oh, and the Elvis Presley scene is gone too. Gone, like it never happened. So here's the kicker, the whole Ohana means family message. Yeah, that only applies unless you want to go to college to be a marine biologist. Then, apparently, you just dump your family on the government and your neighbors. The most messed up thing. Nani giving up custody of Lilo just so she can go to college. How do you mess up the core theme of the entire film that badly? Didn't Nani literally give up a promising surfing career, which should have been a key part of her character arc, to care for Lilo? Instead, she's now chasing a marine biology degree while working as a tiki waitress for tourists. That's a huge downgrade for her character, and it erases so much of her connection to their parents, the island, and to Lilo. In the original, the trophies hinted she was a surfing champ, even surfing with Lilo and Stitch on the board. After their parents died, she probably quit surfing to take care of Lilo, sacrificing her dreams for family. Shouldn't she have stayed connected to that part of herself? Shouldn't that have been central to her story? Instead, this new script fumbles the message, trying to have its cake and eat it, with the portal gun nonsense, which means no real conflict, no real stakes, no real effort from the writers. It's a complete mess. Also, Bubbles has been split into two characters for absolutely no reason. Why? His presence was iconic. He had charm, he had mystery, he had that intimidating but lovable energy. Now it's just watered down across two characters who feel hollow. It just feels unnecessary and confusing. It's like they keep chopping up everything that made the original work and reassembling it into a jumbled mess. And don't even get me started again on the TikTok jokes, the missing, ugly duckling, story, no alien reveal, no real Ohana moment. They even turned, Ohana means family, into a joke. Like seriously, but hey, let me breathe for a second and give credit where it's due. The casting of Lilo, perfect. That little girl was adorable, she brought so much heart to the role. She felt like Lilo, awkward, passionate, stubborn, lovable. She has real talent, and I can definitely see her having a strong future in this industry. And Stitch? He was great, he looked good, he felt right, and he and Lilo had genuine chemistry. They carried the emotional weight of the movie, even with all the nonsense happening around them. Stitch was still adorable and chaotic, even if they had to throw in those dumb fart jokes. As for Jumba and Pleakley, yeah, they had their moments. I laughed a couple of times. There were flashes of what could have been, but overall, Disney keeps missing the point, again and again, trying to modernize things by stripping out the soul of the original. But that being said, I still can't forgive the film for erasing the subtle messages and themes that made the original Lilo and Stitch so powerful. Let's be clear, Lilo and Stitch has always been, in part, about colonialism. The theme of Ohana, family, is about more than just sentimentality. It's rooted in resistance. In Hawaiian and indigenous cultures, the forced separation of families by colonial governments, like CPS and the US government, has had deep, traumatic impacts. That's why Nani singing Aloha Oe, a song written by Queen Liliuokalani as a farewell to her people when she was overthrown, hits so hard. It's layered with cultural grief and love. In the original film, these themes were subtle but unmistakable. The presence of social services, the military, the alien, Federation, all mirrored the way indigenous families are often surveilled, judged, or broken up by outside systems. Even Lilo's hobby, photographing overweight tourists, is a quiet critique of how Native people are objectified while their culture is commodified. The remake ignores all of that. There's no evidence that Native Hawaiians were seriously consulted. The filmmakers showed no interest in telling a respectful story or preserving the soul of the original. They saw it as a product, a profit machine, not a legacy. Also, why did they think it was a good idea to have Nani leave the island to study marine biology in California? Did they not know that there are colleges in Hawaii? How anyone involved thought it was a good idea to strip out the anti-colonial themes, disrespect the original characters, and still expect praise is beyond me. But man, Disney, you've got to stop doing this. You can't just slap your name on remakes and expect nostalgia to carry you. Respect the original, respect the characters, respect the message. Until then, I'll be over here, watching the animated Lilo and Stitch for the 100th time, because that one still understands what Ohana really means. I'm Celestial, this is Pop Nexus, and I'll see you in the next one.